Well, folks, we have just learned that every single country on Earth caved to Trump's big tariff plan. Wait a minute. No, it's the other way around. Trump just caved 12 hours after the tariffs went into place. Of course, all 60 countries didn't cave after 12 hours. Trump decided to release a statement saying, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the United States of America to 125%, effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Now, he talks a little bit more about currency manipulation, non-monetary tariffs. Here's the big part right here. I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Now, someone in chat just said, how is this caving? The reason that this is Trump caving is because the main tariffs went into place at 12:01 a.m., 12 hours ago, roughly 12 hours ago. So Trump already removed his own tariffs. If he was actually confident about reshoring manufacturing or placing permanent tariffs, he would have allowed them to stay on. He would have had permanent tariffs. He's been talking about how he truly believes in tariffs. So the most beautiful word in the dictionary, he immediately caved. So here is the reality of it, though. The 10% tariffs are still in place, right? The 10% tariffs are still in place. And what he's doing right now is jerking other countries around, trying to strong arm them into a negotiation, twisting their arm until they lower their tariffs with the end goal of maybe lowering trade barriers. No one really knows the end goal, but we do know that Caroline Levitt said, you guys failed to see the art of the deal. Watch what Caroline Levitt just said.
Excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I also failed to see the art of the deal. Where's the deal in placing tariffs, hyping them up for months and months? You can even say hyping them up for a year, and then within 12 hours, caving. So a Trump supporter in this live stream chat just said, lol, he didn't cave on anything. He put them off for 30 days because of fraud and abuse. Oh, someone's claiming that it's inside trading. Okay, well, really quickly. To the Trump supporters who currently think that he didn't cave, he absolutely caved on his own negotiation. The stock market was tanking. Pressure was ramping up against multiple MAGA allies, or from multiple MAGA allies. Now, there's also an inside trading aspect to it as well. Is Trump trying to tank the market so his allies can buy in? We don't know. We don't know for sure. But let me show you. Really quickly. 1 second. Yeah, really quickly, if you're just joining, we have 3K live. First of all, drop a like. Secondly, Trump put a 90-day pause on all of the tariffs, and Trump supporters in chat, plus Caroline Levitt, are claiming it's the art of the deal, but it's not. He caved to his own plan. Watch this.
Excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office.
Okay, by the way, the art of the deal was to basically drop the market 15% and allow it to go back up 5%. And we haven't even gotten close to pre-Liberation Day market. Sorry. We haven't even gotten close to the pre-Liberation Day level of the market. I mean, it's returned a little bit, but it's absolutely wild. Going back to this, Trump raised the tariffs on China even more, put a 90-day pause, kept the 10% tariffs for the people just joining right now. Trump already caved on his own plan. Yeah, what deal? It's not the art of the deal. When you tank the stock market, consumer confidence in the economy dropped. overall certainty in the economy dropped. I mean, businesses need a predictable environment if they want to thrive, and Trump is creating anything but that. He's creating a more unpredictable environment that we've seen in a while. Watch Scott Bessent trying to run defense.
All this was, again, this was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along. And that, you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position.
What? I'm not going to say that. He didn't goad anyone into a bad position but American consumers and American citizens. We are the ones in the bad position. So let's just kill the myth once and for all that this was some genius Trumpian negotiation. First of all, he didn't even know the plan that he was going to roll out until hours before his Rose Garden speech on Liberation Day a week ago. On April 2nd, when Trump took the podium to announce these tariffs, they made that like an hour before. Some reports say they used ChatGPT for the formula. We don't know for sure, but we do know that the formula was complete bunk. So Trump didn't just gain leverage, he created panic. He won 0 concessions from any country. He is just scrambling to limit the damage only 12 hours after the tariffs actually go into effect. He was telegraphing his weakness and his panic throughout it all. Like, look at this. If I go to his Truth Social, he said just a few hours ago, this is a great time to buy. Be cool. Everything is going to work out. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. He then tweeted more and more. It's imperative that Republicans... does it instill faith in you to have your president tweeting out in all caps, be cool, and then pumping the stock market saying this is a great time to buy? What do you mean be cool? You're the president of the United States. He said everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever. This was 4 hours ago. So I'm assuming this is when he began to realize that he can't keep this ruse going forever. This isn't him showing strength. When Trump tweets out, be cool, everything is going to work out well, the Trump supporters in the chat, I see you guys, some Trump supporters in the chat trying to troll. You cannot tell me that this is him gaining leverage or showing strength. This is him telegraphing weakness on the global stage. So I'm going to say it again, politically, this is just a self-own. Trump has spent the past year, you can even argue Trump has spent a few decades touting these tariffs as a bold economic doctrine, a return to manufacturing in America. He had this whole botched theory, and now he reversed it within 12 hours, which shows a few things. Number one, he never had a strong plan. He never had a long-term plan whatsoever. He never had the coalition in place that he needed. I mean, all of the Trump supporters, sorry, not all of the Trump supporters, many of the MAGA pundits were themselves freaking out. Let me pull up this video that I was just watching really quickly. Because many MAGA supporters themselves were not really comfortable with the idea of this happening. Really quickly, let me show you Elizabeth Warren owning a MAGA host on CNBC. Check this out.
This is almost like part 2. Remember our last conversation about price gouging. So now you got another way to say that corporations are doing that.
Well,
but egg prices came down, inflation came down. It seems like the corporations only gouge when you say they're gouging, and then they're unable to at other times.
So I know you don't want to listen to me on this, but listen to Jerome Powell on this. The example he gave on Friday was from the last time that Trump's tariffs went into effect. And he said there was a tariff on washing machines. No surprise, the price of washing machines went up. But the shocking part is the price of dryers went up as well, even though there was no imposition of tariffs on those. You tell me what that is, except for price gouging.
Trying to figure that out. Unless you have a clothesline, unless you have a clothesline out back, you need the dryer, though, Senator.
Well, you need the dryer, but the price doesn't go up on dryers. The cost of dryers didn't go up.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The times.
Totally. And I love the smell.
I love the way you're changing the subject here. That is an example of price gouging.
They told me we had less than a minute. They said we had less than a minute left.
Now they say we can keep it going.
Now we can keep it going.
Now we can keep it going.
I don't want to keep it going.
Good.
No, Senator.
I bet you don't.
No, Senator, let me ask you a little bit. I mean,
It gets a little bit heated right there, but I love Elizabeth Warren. So someone in chat just said, did Trump just do a pump and dump? There is a chance that there was some market manipulation going on because, of course, it was all uncertain. There was so much uncertainty. And yes, have you guys said thank you yet? Has anybody even said thank you? What about this meme right here? I love this meme right here. If there was a Democratic president, if Kamala Harris would have won, and we know that she has a steady hand, she's predictable, she's not unreliable, the stock market would have gone up at a normal pace, right? But Trump crashes the market, it recovers at a slower pace, and now Trump supporters are like, oh, it's the art of the deal, bro. It's the art of the deal. The art of the steal money from Americans by pumping and dumping everything. Absolutely hilarious. By the way, if you're just jumping in, make sure to drop a like on the stream to help boost this pro-democracy message. We're nearing 10,000 live viewers, so I'm going to recap just from the beginning really quickly. Not long ago, our idiot president tweeted out that while he's maintaining and even upping the tariffs on China, he's removing the Liberation Day tariffs that went into effect at midnight last night. So now we're reverting back to 10% tariffs on all countries, and the tariffs that Trump placed are gone. And this is him caving. This is him caving. Someone said, is this good or bad? It is good. It is good that Trump is removing the tariffs, but it's funny that he's caving. Someone said, I love your videos, Adam. Thank you so much. And thank you guys all for allowing this year to be great so far. But to continue recapping, only a few hours ago, Trump was saying, be cool. Everything is going to work out well. And look at this. Is this not a prime example of market manipulation? Trump said at 8:30 a.m., 8:37 a.m. to be exact, this is a great time to buy. He's basically hinting at his own MAGA supporters, hey, nudge, nudge, this is a great time to buy. We'll see what happens over the next few days. And then 4 hours later, the market goes up. Let me just look up the S&P 500, which is a good indicator of how the market is doing overall. Here is the S&P 500, which is a good indicator of how the overall market is doing. And it is ripping because Trump is pump and dumping it. Literally, he said a few hours ago, now is a great time to buy. Is that even legal? I don't even know if that's legal. Then he comes out and says the tariffs are gone. Then, if you're just joining, Caroline Levitt says this is called the art of the deal, even though, let me remind you, Trump didn't create leverage. He created panic. Trump enacted the tariffs and then 12 hours later removed the tariffs. How do you not even let it happen? Within that 12-hour period, all Trump did was urge people to buy and say, it has to be illegal.
Excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers.
I mean, yeah, if the rest of the world wants access to the U.S. markets, or if they did, like, they want the U.S. to be a reliable and predictable ally. As a U.S. leader, if you want other countries to do trade with us, you have to show them that we are reliable. And we've spent decades doing this, building up this trust. Honestly, ever since post-World War II and the alliance of NATO, we've been building these treaties and these alliances and figuring out who's good at building what so that comparative advantage can be at play and that other countries can do things that they're good at while we focus on what we're good at. Now Donald Trump has showed us that we're not reliable. He showed the rest of the world that we're not a reliable ally. So I'm not saying that other countries are going to immediately go and partner with China, but they're probably thinking about it. They're thinking of cutting off the U.S., who is shown to be unreliable. We are very close to having 10,000 live viewers. So all that I ask from you guys is to make sure you hit a like on the stream. Hit the like on the stream. It's free, and it helps boost our pro-democracy message. So we've gone through everything. Trump removes the tariffs. The stock market rips only hours after Trump says, now is a good time to buy. He also says, be cool. And there were some MAGA trolls in chat trying to challenge me and say, hey, Adam, this is Trump doing the art of the deal, but a few things. Okay, I just want to go back 1 second. He didn't win any concessions. He's scrambling to limit the damage after getting 0 concessions from other countries, and he was telegraphing weakness throughout the entire time. globally and domestically, who's telegraphing weakness. His admin was uncoordinated, by the way, as well. Businesses are probably thinking of moving to other countries. You know what's kind of funny? If Trump's end goal was to reshore manufacturing, he probably created the opposite effect. I'm sure companies are now thinking, wow, the US is about the least trustworthy country on the planet. Even China is more trustworthy. Even Russia is not going to do something like, actually, Russia is going to invade countries next door. I wouldn't even say that. But China probably is a little bit more pro-business at this very moment. And I am someone that is totally okay with slapping China on the face. But now I wonder, what is Ben Shapiro's spin going to be? Is he going to say that this was the art of the deal? Or is he going to admit that Trump didn't create leverage, he created panic and only panic? Because a lot of MAGA supporters were saying that this was kind of a self-owned politically from the Trump admin. Let's go and check out some of the clips that are coming out of Fox News right now.
But some are saying it's the market, particularly the bond market, that pushed the White House into this.
Oh, now they're all smiley. Now the Fox Business Chiron is green. Give me a break.
Oh, no.
Trump just pulled us back from the brink of a disaster that he created. Trump just saved the day from the villain, and the villain was Trump. It's not a win.
No. We had a great bonds market selling today, and everything was fine with that. The yields looked beautifully. We had broad-based participation in that, and it's trust in Trump. I mean, look, this was done in a beautiful negotiation. We put out there a set of reciprocal tariffs that reflect the crushing trade deficits that we have with these countries.
You know what's funny? Peter Navarro was saying the exact opposite 24 hours ago. He was acting like a firm believer, and not just as a negotiation tactic. This dude is being whipped and dragged along by Donald Trump and acting like he supports what Trump did post hoc, coming up with post hoc rationalizations. But Peter Navarro said something there to the effect of, you just have to trust the president to do what he does. Trump is giving me zero reasons to trust him whatsoever throughout any of this. He's been deranged, unhinged. He even said yesterday that other countries are coming to kiss his ass to make deals. Is that a way to talk about countries after you just basically nuked our entire reliability on the global stage, but our ability to trade freely? By the way, I just saw us peak over 10,000 viewers. Let's go. I love everybody watching. We have 4,000 likes, and you guys are the best. And while you guys are here, let me show you something really cool that you may have missed. There is a YouTube channel named Jubilee. Right now, I'm not going to play it now, but tomorrow on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, tomorrow on Thursday night, I will be doing a reaction to my Jubilee debate. On Jubilee, I did a debate about tariffs, about Doge, about Elon. Make sure you be there tomorrow. Make sure you share it tomorrow. 10K live. I want to ask you in chat, say yes or no in chat. Have you seen my Jubilee debate? It's a really good, fast-paced. Who's seen my Jubilee debate? Yes or no? I'll link it. But let's go back to the tariffs. Sorry. Let's go back to the tariffs. Wow, the vast majority of you have not seen it. One more time, your boy goes on Jubilee. I flew to LA and I debated. I'm going to be giving the entire experience tomorrow and what it was like doing a Jubilee debate. But let's go back. Let's go back to this. Caroline Levitt is claiming that this is the art of the deal and that we're all missing what the deal was. I'm sorry. The deal was tanking the stock market 15%, allowing it to recover 6%, owning yourself on the national stage, having zero coalition to do this, zero plan, and not even the leverage to pull it off. Allies did not fall in line. That didn't happen, no. The markets haven't even stabilized. I'm sure they won't for a while. And his base didn't even know how to message about it. So if you want to talk about the art of the deal, this was all just a policy stunt. Yeah, what deal? What deal have they made whatsoever? So you could also make the argument that this was, you could also make the argument that this was market manipulation or a market manipulation stunt masquerading as trade policy, because Trump dropped a 30 to 60% tariff package on America's entire trade base, sending markets into decline, and that uncertainty spooked investors, spooked everybody. Oh, hell yeah, we're about to hit 5,000 likes on the stream. Did any country actually make a deal? There are concepts of a deal, chat. There are concepts of a deal.
Negotiate. It took great courage for him to stay the course and
It took great courage. Lord have mercy. Bro was golfing.
Till this moment, and what we have ended up with here, as I told everyone a week ago, they're in this very spot, do not retaliate and you will be rewarded. So every country...
What's the reward? What's the deal that was struck? I mean, Peter Navarro says right here,
Trying to negotiate.
in this clip, Peter Navarro says, this is one of the greatest days in American economic history. Dude, are we living in North Korea? Is this the North Korean regime meme? Let me pull it up. I promise you, every single time somebody within the Trump administration speaks, all I see is this meme right here. Dear leader is adding new tariffs to make all Americans wealthy again. Lord have mercy. This is Caroline Leavitt spewing North Korean propaganda. But to go back to this post I was looking at, this is one of the greatest days in American economic history. Again, this is like, what's a good analogy? This is like if Iron Man destroyed all of New York City, or like if Iron Man was about to drop a nuke on New York City, and at the last minute, he saves the city from the nuke and is like, look, I saved you guys. The point is, Trump is the villain and the hero. He's trying to be the firefighter and the arsonist. He's trying to be the bank robber and the cop at the same time. He's literally nuking our economic and free trade system. And then right when, like 12 hours after it comes into effect, he acts like he saved the day. But one more point that I want to make is that, I want to make a lot more points, but even with this walk back, we're not going to recover to where we were. And you can look at that visually with the markets. The markets are not actually going to recover to where they were before this. They dropped and we lost a year of gains. But also, our credibility on the global stage is definitely not going to recover. We've spent a while building up this credibility, and now Wall Street knows that Trump is willing to blow up trade policy on a whim. Now our allies know that Trump is willing to blow up trade policy on a whim, and there's no long-term clarity or long-term forward-looking message for the future. No coordinated diplomacy between U.S. officials and other officials. It kind of just feels like damage control at this point, just like vibes, tweets, and damage control. Thank you so much for the gifts, by the way. While everybody's here, we have 11,000 people watching. I hate to do this, I hate to promote it, but because of you guys, we are the fastest growing political channel in Q1 of 2025, or we're the fastest growing Gen Z political channel, so make sure you subscribe, because if you look at this list, Fox News, Joe Rogan, Adam Mockler is in number 10, so we want to keep the growth going. Make sure you subscribe so we can beat the MAGA media, beat the MAGA narrative, beat people like Peter Navarro who are out there spreading complete BS.
Countries are trying to negotiate. Walk us through how this decision was made.
Charles, this is one of the greatest days in American economic history we have had. I think we're going to call it the art of the reciprocal trade deal. And
the art of the reciprocal trade deal, Lord have mercy. Inject the propaganda into my veins. Inject the propaganda. Please inject the propaganda.
And I'll tell you, all the nervous Nellies on Wall Street who try to undermine us consistently underestimate the power of the president to negotiate. What have we got here? We are at a place now where we have a broad-based 10% global tariff on. Well, we negotiate over the next 90 days with all of these countries who have come to us.
Please keep in mind that this is like the fourth iteration of the plan. This is literally like the fourth iteration of their plan. First, it was permanent tariffs to reshore manufacturing. Then they were open to negotiation. Then it was permanent tariffs again because Trump is just such a hardline believer. But now there's a 90-day grace period already after Trump applied tariffs to Mexico and Canada and got zero concessions whatsoever. No concessions at all. 10K live. I love all of you. By the way, quick celebration. I know I get emails that it's annoying when I do this, but I keep pulling up this chart. Drop some blue hearts in the chat, but not for me, for you guys. But because the love that you guys have showed us, the amount of growth that we've seen over the past 3 months and year has made us pass right-wing MAGA commentators. we have literally passed Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA in growth. And that is a huge, huge feat right there. I'm not saying we're bigger than them in raw numbers. I'm saying if you look at the month-over-month growth, like look at how activated the base is. We have a bunch of blue hearts spamming in chat. And the reason why we're passing them so quickly, in my opinion, is because we're able to create such a solid pro-democracy vibe at a time when it's kind of grim. Not everything is grim, but when Trump is tanking the stock market, when people are being deported with no due process, Signalgate was roaring, we're all here together talking about our pro-democracy vibes. We have Midas Touch. They do a lot of legal analysis. Ben is a lawyer. Michael Popak is a lawyer. We have all of the lawyers over there. I give a little bit of a different lens. I'd like to think I give a casual view, an update on the politics. But sorry for the yap session. The point was, make sure to subscribe. The other point is, make sure to go check out that Jubilee episode. I'm going to keep linking it here because if you guys go and show some love, drop some blue hearts in the Jubilee thing too and watch this whole thing. If this gets to 1 million views, they may have me back on the show and we may do a bigger Jubilee episode. A lot of people say they don't like Jubilee because they think Jubilee doesn't provide both sides. But if you watch me debating, I provide our side pretty well. I take down Elon Musk and Doge. So yeah, Jubilee, go check it out. But let's go back and check out what's going on the news.
Mr. Trade Representative, are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago. It's something
Sitting here
under discussion.
Sitting here under discussion. So did you know that that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President.
details of the pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
No, excuse me? China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
What's the blink, sir?
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the
We've had
details? How long is the pause? How many?
This U.S. trade representative who's on Trump's side is getting grilled right now. Someone said, Adam, what is Jubilee? Sorry to keep going back to this. Jubilee is a channel with almost 10 million followers on YouTube, and they host debates. They hosted a debate with me, and I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow night. A live stream tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Time. Go write this down or put it in your schedule. And in that live stream, we're going to be going over this whole Jubilee debate. And if we hit 10,000 live viewers there, we'll do something really special. But let's go back to this clip because this guy is getting grilled. This is a U.S. trade rep testifying on the tariffs. He didn't even know the pause was going into place. That just shows the lack of coordination between the administration. No coordinated policy or coordinated diplomacy. There's not even coordination with the people like the MAGA pundits. Not that there should be from Trump directly, but the MAGA pundits are all in different places right now. Ben Shapiro's pissed off. Benny Johnson is lying. Aiden Ross is mad. Focus this camera. Either way, there we go.
How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've
So
been
the trade.
Yep, someone said in chat, Adam, markets like reliability and predictability and not chaos. Exactly. Businesses need to know how much to allocate where at any given time. You can't introduce a bunch of chaos. Yeah, someone said, Adam, you did amazing on Jubilee. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was actually very proud of how this debate turned out. And you want to know what's interesting? I'll talk about this more tomorrow. We filmed this Jubilee debate almost a month ago, and I made a lot of claims about tariffs that all came true. I said Trump's tariffs will tank the market, CEOs will come out and say this or that, and it all came true. Let's continue this.
Representative hasn't spoken to the President of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have.
And
I've just
yet
been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet.
We're back to announcing policy on a tweet. And by the way, this is Representative Stephen Horsford saying to Greer, so the trade representative, our leading trade representative, hasn't even spoken to the president about a global reordering of trade. 1 second, I've got to go close this door.
WTF? Who's in charge?
The President of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
It looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you and paused the tariffs, the taxes on the American people. There's no strategy. You just found out 3 seconds ago, sitting here, we saw you.
we've been discussing a
If
variety
you
of
came here knowing that you were going to be turned off, that these tariffs were going to be turned off, why didn't you include that in your opening statement? Why didn't you reference that as part of your testimony?
Well, I don't disclose my conversations with the president, sir.
These were specific questions we asked you all along. What's the strategy? These are real consequences for the American people and small businesses. I had a group of small businesses in my office earlier today talking about the impacts of these tariffs on aluminum and steel. This is amateur hour, and it needs to stop.
Okay, this guy is absolutely going off, but can I just reiterate what he said? It is amateur hour. They're acting like this is the art of the deal. Trump just pulled us back from the brink of a disaster that he himself intentionally created. How is that a win? How is that a win at all? Like, I'm about to go set my bed on fire and then put the fire out at the last second and claim that I saved my room from a fire. What the hell? I don't...
What does this even mean for your negotiating strategy? How are you in charge of negotiation if the president is tweeting about this from wherever the hell he is?
The president was elected, and he runs the trade policy, and I advise him and execute his
Who
trade
executes
policy.
the trade policy?
I execute the trade
Did you
policy.
know
for the president.
that this was happening?
We have been discussing all kinds of...
And there's another member of the cabinet, Bessent, who just canceled coming to the Hill to avoid talking about the market because it's in turmoil. This in just days because there was no strategy, there was no plan. The president chose to take action.
There was a plan. The plan was wing it on the golf course and declare victory no matter what the outcome is.
That he didn't even have the authority to take. He's put our economy in disarray and near collapse. We have small businesses and Americans who are concerned about their well-being, people's retirement, people's 529.
No, don't be concerned. It's just your ability to retire and live out the rest of your life peacefully. And no, don't be concerned. It's just a global tax hike on everything and an unpredictable, unreliable economy, which will actually make America a laughingstock on the global stage and push away our allies for decades. No, just whatever.
Accounts went down because of this administration. We have people that are planning to send their kids to college this fall. People who are retiring whose benefits have declined.
Yeah.
Is this market manipulation?
That's a really good question. What do you guys think in chat? Is it market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
True. Wait a minute. Oh my God, he just got rolled. That is so true. If this was the plan all along, how is this not intentionally manipulating the market? Especially when Trump said 4 hours ago. Here's the key piece. Trump said 4 hours ago, this is a great time to buy. DJT. 4 hours ago. My cousin just texted me, did the federal government just run a pump and dump on the entire country? Yep. So I feel like this is the silver bullet. Trump 4 hours ago said this is a great time to buy.
But he apparently...
Oh, whoops. Sorry, where did that clip just go that I was watching?
Manipulation.
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
And
That's offshored all of our factories.
what has that done? How have you done? How have you achieved any of that? But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does. So if it's not market manipulation, what is it? Who's benefiting? What billionaire just got richer? And all the while, there are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the Speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people. WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure doesn't look like it's the trade representative. You just got the rug pulled out from under you.
Ooh, this guy is absolutely cooking. The camera won't show the other guy because he's sobbing in a pile of his tears.
I wish
Or a puddle of his tears.
I could feel some empathy. But the empathy I have is for the American people, whose very well-being and livelihoods are being affected. This is not a game. This is real life. I yield back.
Destroyed. So that's kind of wild. One of the top trade representatives didn't even know. What we were just seeing there is actually making a lot of headlines. So the interaction we just saw there just made a CNN headline. Trump's top trade official wasn't informed on tariff delay until after announcement. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer defended Trump's stiff tariffs during a House hearing. Trump blinked first. 14K watching live. Hell yes. I love all of you guys. Just to recap the stream, because a few thousand new people joined, I'll make this quick. Trump, not long ago, tweeted out that he is pausing the tariffs for 90 days, only 12 hours after the tariffs officially went into effect. They went into effect at 12:01 a.m. last night. Roughly 12 hours later, Trump pauses the tariffs among all countries except for China and leaves 10% on as a baseline. Now, there are a few interesting pieces about this. Number one, a few hours before pausing, 4 hours before, he said, this is a great time to buy. This is a great time to buy. Then right after he paused, we see Caroline Leavitt claiming that this is, quote, the art of the deal. It's not. It's Trump basically throwing a grenade into the global economy, watching the markets panic, and then casually tweeting out never mind and getting credit from the MAGA fan base. It's actually pretty wild. And it's a lose-lose, because either the tariffs go into... nothing he did here was smart. It was all so dumb. If he let the tariffs go into effect, we see mass and utter destruction, but now we just see kind of destruction. Like, can I go back to this meme right here for the people just joining? Feel free to screenshot. Tag me in wherever you post this, but... the stock market under Democrats, like if it was Kamala Harris in place, the stock market would be going up at its normal pace, right? But now Trump tanks the market and it recovers at a slower rate than it would have. And now they're like, art of the deal. Art of the effing deal. The economy, a tale as old as time. Or what about this one? The market crashes. Trump goes, art of the deal. Then it recovers a bit. Oh, all of you panicking people, the panicans were wrong. Then it crashes. Art of the deal. Panicans were wrong. Just come on. These people are beyond parody. So again, you can't throw a grenade into the global economy and then when everyone panics, be like, just kidding. I didn't even pull the pin. Just joking. Because he slapped a 30 to 60% tariff on almost every single country overnight. Or no, he did it a week ago, but they went into effect overnight. Let me revise my wording there. And it wasn't strategic whatsoever. There were no asks. There were no concessions he was trying to get. He just vaguely said we were being ripped off. And then after 12 hours, Trump blinked. But yeah, I probably kept this on screen long enough for you guys to see. Well, let's go back to Besant. Is this the clip that was making me laugh earlier? No, there was another clip.
Excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed it. I missed the art. I'm so sorry. It's like, dude, where's the meme again? This is it. This is what I see. The art of the deal is basically being the firefighter and the arsonist at the same time. It is creating the perfect recipe for consumer pain, consumer uncertainty, stock market crashing, everything sliding across the globe, and inflation. Most of all, inflation. after you create the perfect environment for all of that, you pull us back from the brink and say that you saved us. Lord have mercy. Does this actually work on people? Like, this is like if I was on a date and I like push a girl into the highway or whatever, and then as a car comes, I pull her from the highway, and I'm just like, oh, thank God I saved you. She's like, wait, you pushed me in the first place. You're not the hero here. Trump is not the hero here. All right, I'm done with the analogies, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? This clip was amazing. This clip was amazing. It works on people if they're MAGA. True. Very true. Let's see what Fox News is up to.
Navarro was talking as of yesterday about not taking the win, and now they did. And it's all because of the bond market. I want to point out one other thing because of China. There will not be a TikTok deal, okay? That the White House has confirmed to me.
I don't care about TikTok.
Well, I mean, because of the mixed messaging, how can you doubt them? I mean, let's be clear what happened. You know, who capitulated here and why? And, you know, I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear. And
True. Who is this? Wait. Oh, Charlie Gasparino, Fox News senior correspondent. Wait, I thought I played it. Sorry.
Well, I mean, because of the mixed messaging, how can you doubt them? I mean, let's be clear what happened. You know, who capitulated here and why? And, you know, I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources. And the reason why...
Wait, that is a Fox News senior correspondent saying that it was the White House who capitulated. Is this dude gonna get fired? Because he just beamed the truth into the homes of millions of Americans watching Fox News on accident. And let me say, Trump was the one who capitulated. I keep saying this, but you can't throw a grenade into the global economy and when all other countries begin to panic, say, actually, I never even pulled the pin. I'm a mastermind. I'm the art of the deal. I just tricked all of you. It is absolutely insufferable how Trump supporters are claiming this is a win. So I'm glad to see this guy coming out and saying, dude.
Is because of the bond market and what happened last night. You know, Bessent knows this better than anybody. When you have yields on the 10-year rising to 5%, stuff starts shutting down when you have the lending markets screwed up. By the way, who was dumping the bonds? Somebody asked them if it was China, right? It wasn't. It was Japan. While he was negotiating with Japan, according to my sources, who are running major money management firms that are involved in the bond market without giving up names, Japan was dumping bonds because...
And here's the thing. Once the bond market begins to collapse at that rate, while the stock market is also collapsing, it's not good. Generally, they run an inverse. You want them to run an inverse, right? So when they're both collapsing at the same time, Trump is going to blink because he's a little bit of a wuss.
They believed this was not a great place to do business. That forced their hands. Now, what you can say, I think, legitimately here, is Trump decided to take the win. And here's why. There was...
Wait, what?
Overwhelmingly, you know, deal potential here among the entire world, except for maybe China, right? Everybody really wanted something. So he did take the win, but make no mistake about it. Peter Navarro was talking as of yesterday about not taking the win, and now they did. And it's all because of the bond market. I want to point out.
Yeah, there is no win whatsoever. You can't cave and then say it's a win. This guy kind of just said contradictory things, in my opinion. But dude, there is no win here to be taken. By the way, okay, there's a few really dumb pieces about this. First of all, you don't have to start a global trade war if you want to negotiate with people who are already our allies. You think that Japan or that Europe doesn't want to negotiate with us or have a stronger relationship with their allies? Of course they do. But also, there was no win here. There was no win whatsoever. He pulled us back from the brink of a disaster that he himself created on day one. And again, there are long-term effects on this. Not only long-term effects on our reliability, but I think Trump's approval rating will go down long-term. Do you think the average American will wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, I'm so glad the president did the art of the deal? No, they'll be like, what the hell was that? I voted for prices to be lower on day one. That is what Trump promised, lower prices on day one. And all they got was a clown show. So all 15,000 of you, all love. Amazing. Let's read some chats. What just happened? I'm very confused. Oh, basically, Trump paused his tariffs Trump paused his tariffs for 90 days, only 12 hours after they got enacted. So Trump blinked. Trump backed down because he realized the markets were crashing rapidly and there was nothing he could do about it. And even Fox News is saying Trump is the one that basically backed down, but they're still doing their normal spin on it. Let's see what they say here. One second.
Countries are trying to negotiate. Walk us through how this decision was made.
Charles, this is one of the greatest days in American economic history.
No, it is not. It is not one of the greatest days. And this is one of the corniest things ever. We've been read for the past week, and Fox News has been trying to teeter around it. And we have one green day because Trump saved us from his own disaster. And Fox News has a green chyron saying breaking market news with an upticker. They have a green Fox logo, a green background.
And
Just wild. Someone said, is this insider trading? It could be. We don't know exactly because we don't have the trading records, but is it not suspect that Trump said this is a great time to buy? And then 4 hours later, he changed the whole thing. For all of you guys joining, I'm going to play this clip one more time of a representative just getting... Sorry. For all the people joining, I'm going to play this clip one more time. Victor, start the video here, I'd say. This is a clip of U.S. Trade Representative, top trade representative, Greer. His name is Jamison Greer. Sorry, one second. Someone said, Adam, play it again. I will, 1 second. Let me intro it for the people that are... And so I can make a video out of this. Give me 1 second. Look at this meme. Trump says, I'm adding tariffs. And MAGA says, this will create jobs. I'm removing tariffs. That is the art of the deal. I'm adding tariffs. This will create jobs. I'm removing tariffs. That is the art of the deal. Literally just NPCs who go along with whatever he says. The same thing with this. The economy would have gone a normal direction if Democrats were in power, but Trump intentionally tanks it, and it recovers, not even to the point where it was before, and Trump supporters say it's the art of the deal. But I really want to show you guys this video of Trump's top trade official getting grilled because he wasn't even informed of the tariff delay until after the announcement came out. So he was sitting there getting grilled by the House, this U.S. trade representative, and he gets asked, did you know that Trump was going to do this? He had no clue. He was informed in that moment, but then he begins to play defense and say, actually, Trump had a plan this entire time. Let me play this clip because it may be one of the most beautiful takedowns I have seen. Make sure that you guys drop a like. And one more time, sorry that I keep repeating this, but I'm very proud that we are one of the fastest growing political channels on all of YouTube in Q1. So if you want to keep this going in Q2 and beat Fox News, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's just start with this clip.
Mr. Trade Representative, are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago. It's
Sitting here,
under discussion.
Sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President
details of the pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
No, excuse me? China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
And don't be mistaken, Trump is the one who blinked in this situation. Trump is the one who pulled us back from the brink of a disaster that he created. But let's continue.
What's the blink, sir?
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the
We've had
details? How long is the pause? How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've
So
been
the
in this
trade
hearing.
representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have.
Wow. So again, there was no diplomatic coordination here. There was no policy coordination among officials. They were basically just winging it. We do know for a fact that Trump didn't even have a plan for this until hours before taking stage at the Rose Garden about a week ago. And now we know again, there is absolutely zero coordination between officials whatsoever. The admin is just doing damage control at this point with tweets and vibes and Truth Social posts, trying to hide the fact that now there's no long-term clarity. Now the US's reputation is burnt on the global stage. Now the tariffs will still lead us closer to a recession, even if you pull them back. But let me continue playing this because it gets better.
Been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet. WTF? Who's in charge?
The president of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
It looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you and paused the tariffs, the taxes on the American people. There's no strategy. You just found out 3 seconds ago, sitting here, we saw you.
we've been discussing.
He did just find out 3 seconds ago, and now this tweet is going viral. They're making fun of him. Someone said, heartbreaking. Someone said, heartbreaking. Man discovers he has to backpedal on a policy he just spent over 4 hours defending. And this says what it looks like when you're the country's trade representative testifying before Congress and you find out Trump changed his mind on tariffs. This is reckless governing. There is no strategy, and it's obvious this is amateur hour. And by the way, the representative who tweeted this out is the representative who we see in this video here, Representative Stephen Horsford. And you see Richard Greer, or sorry, not Richard Greer, you see Jamison Greer looking down and realizing, oh shit, Trump just changed his entire policy.
Discussing a
If
variety
you
of
came here knowing that you were going to be turned off, that these tariffs were going to be turned off, why didn't you include that in your opening statement? Why didn't you reference that as part of your testimony?
Well, I don't disclose my conversations with the president, sir.
These were specific questions we asked you all along. What's the strategy? These are real consequences for the American people and small businesses. I had a group of small businesses in my office earlier today talking about the impacts of these tariffs on aluminum and steel.
And by the way, don't be mistaken and think that just because Trump removed the tariffs that small businesses are going to be okay, because he removed the blanket tariffs that came into effect last night, but there are still 10% tariffs on every country and 100% tariffs on China. So he removed the 50 to 60% tariffs, but we still do have 10% tariffs on every country except for Russia and North Korea for some odd reason. But let's continue.
This is amateur hour, and it needs to stop. What does this even mean for your negotiating strategy? How are you in charge of negotiation if the president is tweeting about this from wherever the hell he is?
The president was elected, and he runs the trade policy, and I advise him and execute his
Who
trade
executes
policy.
the trade policy?
I execute the trade
Did you
policy.
know
The
that
president.
this was happening?
We have been discussing all kinds of
And there's another
options.
member of the cabinet, Bessent, who just canceled coming to the Hill to avoid talking about the market because it's in turmoil.
A lot of the Republicans are scared to talk about this.
This in just days because there was no strategy, there was no plan. The president chose to take actions that he didn't even have the authority to take. He's put our economy in disarray and near collapse. We have small businesses and Americans who are concerned about their well-being, people's retirement, people's 529.
Yeah, I'm sure Trump and Elon Musk and all the people around them, their cabinet, they're all worried too, right? I'm sure, certainly. No, they're all insulated from any problems that they cause.
Accounts went down because of this administration. We have people that are planning to send their kids to college this fall.
Someone in chat just said, this guy is lying to you. We are fine. I'm going to assume that you're a Trump supporter. Here's the reality. We were fine. We were going to be okay when Biden handed a perfectly good economy to Trump, but now Trump, in the course of 2.5 months, has somehow completely ruined it. We were fine when we had alliances on the global stage. We were fine when people were comfortable trading with us, and businesses were okay coming here because they knew that they wouldn't be tariffed by a madman. So, I mean, whoever this Trump supporter in chat is, I lost his name, but yeah, we were fine, bro.
People who are retiring whose benefits have declined. Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
That is a really good point. You can't claim in one breath that you had a plan to do this the entire time and you knew what the results were going to be, but then say we didn't actually know what the results were going to be. We weren't manipulating anything. You can't say those both. And I think the strongest argument for it being market manipulation is the fact that 4 hours before Trump paused the tariffs, this is the post where he says 90-day pause. 4 hours before he did this, he posted, "This is a great time to buy." He's basically telling his MAGA loyalists on Truth Social that this is a great time to buy. Look at these responses. President Trump, champion of the American worker, bringing jobs back to the U.S. Keep calm, buy stock, and let the boss do the job. This is some cult shit. This is like Jim Jones stuff. Even Jim Jones followers didn't make Jim Jones memes about how strong and cool he was. Jesus. Let's go back to this.
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
And
That's offshored all of our factories.
what has that done? How have you achieved any of that? But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does. So if it's not market manipulation, what is it?
Idiocy, lunacy, degeneracy. I don't know. Anyone else in chat got more terms?
Who's benefiting? What billionaire just got richer? And all the while, there are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the Speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people? WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure doesn't look like it's the trade representative. You just got the rug pulled out from under you.
That was a clip of Trump's top trade representative trying to spin this, struggling to spin this, and wow, WTF is right. Representative Stephen Horsford absolutely killed it. And I'm going to say one more time, I know you guys find this annoying, but we are the fastest growing political channel on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe so we can beat Joe Rogan and beat Fox News. Or sorry, we're not the fastest growing. We're the fastest growing Gen Z political channel. The fastest growing political channel is Midas Touch. Then we have Brett Cooper, Fox News, Candace Owens, all right wing. Then MSNBC and Brian Tyler Cohen. I don't even care about beating MSNBC or Brian Tyler Cohen. I want to beat Fox and Joe Rogan. That would be amazing. But sorry, let me go back to this. Bia, thank you for that so much. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, to continue. And by the way, someone said Joe Rogan. Nah, bro. No. I'm not beating Joe Rogan in terms of overall viewership. It's month-over-month growth, basically. It's how much growth can you get per month. By the way, I urge you guys to go check out my debate on the Jubilee YouTube channel. I'm going to go back to the tariffs in 1 second, but they have 10 million followers, and I went on there a few weeks ago and I debated the tariffs. I debated Doge, Trump's trade war, and as I was debating it, or after I debated it, I was waiting for it to come out, and basically everything I say about the economy comes true. Oh, someone said I saw it. Someone said I've never heard of this. Someone said, I've never heard of Jubilee. Jubilee is terrible. This episode is good, I promise you. We go off in this episode. We do a huge debate, and it's great. But yeah.
Countries are trying to negotiate. Walk us through how this decision was made.
Charles, this is one of the greatest days in American economic history. We have.
Oh, and by the way, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, I will be doing a reaction stream to the Jubilee. That will be fun. We'll probably just be chilling out for a few hours and chatting about the Jubilee, the debate, how it went. Over the past few days, by the way, Donald Trump's approval rating has been slowly going down. Not even slowly, quickly going down. We haven't even seen a lot of polling since the stock market crash or since Liberation Day. We've only seen a few high-quality polls since Liberation Day. But all of the polls that we've seen shows Trump approval rapidly sliding. Someone said, I love it when I catch a live stream. Hell yeah. China won't remove their 104% tariffs. Do you fear that? I mean, the China tariffs aren't even the most offensive one. I've said this a lot. I mean, if you want to slap China in the face or talk shit about China, that's not even offensive to me. Go for it. I don't like China either. They certainly do a lot of human rights abuses. They're not really our allies. Oh, shit.
You got the market seeing your brilliance.
Yeah, that's up almost 7 points. 2,500 points. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's going to be a record.
Trump just said the market's up 2,500 points. Nobody's ever heard of it. Gotta be a record. I like how this dude was in hiding while the market was collapsing, and now he's saying this is a record. We just hit a new record, bro. There was no art of the deal here. Art of the steal money from American citizens and consumers. So full of himself. You know that they're all going to be saying he's an economic genius for a while now, even though we've gotten zero concessions whatsoever. Someone said, Adam, thank you for your hard work. My dad and I love watching you in the Midas Touch Network. Hell yeah, that means a lot. It's not a record, it's called a spin. Yeah. The Ukrainians just captured Chinese people fighting on the behalf of Russia as well. Yep, I saw that. Remember this Fox News clip as well?
Well, I mean, because of the mixed messaging, how can you doubt them? I mean, let's be clear what happened. Who capitulated here and why? And I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources. And the reason why is because of the bond market and what happened last night. Bessent knows this better than anybody. When you have yields on the 10-year rising to 5%, stuff starts shutting down. When you have the lending markets screwed up. By the way, who was dumping the bonds? Somebody asked them if it was China, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It was Japan. While he was negotiating with Japan, according to my sources, who are running major money management firms that are involved in the bond market without giving up names, Japan was dumping bonds because they believed this was not a great place to do business. That forced their hands. Now, what you can say, I think, legitimately here, is Trump decided to take the win. And here's why. There was overwhelmingly, deal potential here among the entire world, except for maybe.
Trump did not take any sort of win. Insane spin right. Yeah. As someone in chat says, it went down from 42,000 to 37,000, and he's happy that it's back to 40. That's exactly the point of this meme that I keep pulling up. You can't have the stock market hitting all-time highs and going at a normal pace, and then when you intentionally crash it and it doesn't even recover, you say, oh, look it, this is the art of the deal. Look how well we just negotiated. Just absolutely wild stuff. But we have 12,000 people watching live. I hate to cut it off here, but I absolutely love every single person who came to watch. I just posted a video on my channel 5 minutes ago, so make sure you go check that out. Tomorrow night, let me promote this one more time. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central, we're going to be doing a live stream. 6 p.m. Central, I believe that's 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be watching my Jubilee debate tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe.